From the lonely top of the Pyrenees, welcome to the GCN Show.
Hello and welcome to the GCN Show. This week we've got a decidedly international flavour because I'm in Taiwan.
I'm in Zambia for World Bicycle Relief.
And I'm here in Hong Kong Airport en route to Taipei.
And we're still in the studio.
Maybe they'll let us out one day.
Maybe.
This week we'll be looking at the weird and wonderful tech from Ironman and asking ourselves, are we actually jealous? Because we've also got legal tech with John back in the studio with new Zip 858s and also news from SeeSense lights. We'll be hearing from Dan out in Africa, but you don't have to worry because despite being spread far and wide, it is very much business as usual. Like featuring Lionel here. This week in the world of cycling, we learnt that if you want to find the world's best cyclist right now, then you need to look to cyclocross, because Mathieu Van der Poel, already a former world champion, and bear in mind he's still in his early 20s, has been absolutely crushing the sport this season, and most recently at the spectacular event at Zonhoven.
This is one of the original Buffalo bikes which we found here at the World Bicycle Relief headquarters here in Zambia. Some incredible modifications to this bike, which is quite old now. These bits, meanwhile, these make transportation of people a bit easier, but they are mainly there to transport coal. So you can get 50 kilograms of coal here at the back and another 20 kilograms there at the front. And the owner of this bike would cycle up to 40 kilometers in one direction in the rainy season to transport the coal to places and towns where they had run out of electricity or had power cuts. Definite hack.
It's not just the bike, but it's also the rider that's got to be pretty impressive, I would have thought, to carry 70 kilograms of coal. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing Dan try. Oh yeah. Right, now last week's show we talked about some of cycling's peculiar and sometimes self-inflicted rules. And this week we were reminded about just what cycling would look like if it had no rules at all. Ironman. Yeah. Global Triathlon Network have been out at the World Championships in Kona. In fact, Heather was racing. Congratulations to her. She put in an absolutely stellar performance. And they have, of course, also been making some great videos as well, particularly on tech. Because you see, when you remove the restrictions that govern bike racing, you have a license, therefore, to create more aerodynamic and therefore faster bikes. You remove such inconveniences as, like, frame tubes. In fact, actually, commenter Conor Verbruggen put it best when he said, GCN Bike Tech, holy crap, we hear a rumour that a bike next year will have a hidden seat clamp. GTN Bike Tech, this bike has no down tube or seat stays, and this one was designed by a 2-year-old that comes with a free ostrich. Now, I would not go quite that far, but this one costs $35,000 and comes with a free wind tunnel test. Now this one from Diamondback was also pretty interesting, I thought, because by sticking drop handlebars on there, it's made me certainly look at it very differently indeed. They're aero indentations, by the way, on the down tube, since you were wondering. Now, look at it again. On the face of it, the Tour de France would look very different if riders were using bikes like that. But would it actually be any different? We want to know your thoughts, so make sure you let us know by voting just up there. Would you like to see a big step forward in bike design by relaxing the rules, or are you happy keeping things as they are? Personally, I'm veering more towards no, actually. I'm quite happy as they are. But having said that, if we did get new bike designs going on, I actually don't think the racing itself would change. But make sure you let us know and get involved in the comments section down below as well.
It's now time for Cycling Shorts.
We'll start Cycling Shorts with a story from Indianapolis. And no, it's not the Zip 858s, not yet anyway. Because it came to our attention last week that there is something of a local celebrity out there by the name of Lionel Hills. He has been juggling whilst riding a bike backwards for the entertainment of stationary traffic in this parking lot for years now. In fact, he even has his own fan page on Facebook called Guy on Thompson and Emerson, who rides bike backwards and juggles. What an absolute hero. He seems like such a nice bloke. And to be fair, if there are more people like him in this world, it would be a better place. Which brings me neatly on, actually, to the Bicycle Index, which I heard about this week and I love. It's a way of gauging social change in a country. So according to Dominic Folder, who was writing in the Asian Review, the ratio of people that have to ride bikes versus people that choose to ride bikes can tell you a huge amount about a country and its development. And the more I think about it, the more I think that it is just genius. Now, over to the racing world, many riders are now in their off-season. As we can see here, in fact, Andre Greipel put this Instagram post up. He's been doing some work experience at team sponsor Soudal's factory, possibly sporting next year's eyewear as well. He looks pretty dapper there, doesn't he? And Alex Dowsett, former world hour record holder, has also been busy. He's just picked up an honorary doctorate. That's right, Dr. Dowsett has actually hinted that he will be trying to retake that hour record at some point soon. And he, remember, swaps teams this winter. He goes from Movistar to Katusha, which means he'll stay with Canyon, but he'll go from Campagnolo to SRAM and Zip. So it'll be interesting to see whether that has a bearing on his record as well. Before we leave cycling shorts now, we've actually got to head back to Kona. But don't worry, this is cycling related because former pro roadie Cameron Worth has just smashed the long-standing record for the bike leg. So he's knocked it down to 4 hours, 12 minutes, 54 seconds for the 180.25 kilometres, which works out as an average speed of 42.764 kilometres an hour, which is pretty good going, really, isn't it? He finished 13th overall, which, again, is remarkably good going, because bear in mind, as well as being a pro roadie, he actually started out his endurance sport career as a rower, having represented Australia at the 2004 Olympics. That's pretty good going, isn't it?
More aero tech from Kona now to start Tech of the Week, and these come from Zip. They're their brand new 858 NSWs. Now, Zip claim that they've not only made it faster than their previous deep section wheel, the 808, but they've also modelled it to become a bit more predictable in windy conditions, such as the ones we found out in Hawaii. In fact, they're not actually allowed to use disc wheels at the Ironman World Championships because of the high winds, and that makes these 858s a fairly attractive proposition for triathletes. But I can imagine the likes of Canyon SRAM and Katusha will certainly be a bit bolder with their wheel choices in the time trials and the flatter stages next year.
Tech of the Week this week comes from SeeSense. They've got a new Kickstarter project for their ACE system light. It's actually a smart light, very, very cool. And at the time of filming, they've actually smashed their Kickstarter funding. We've been lucky enough to get this, one of the very first prototype units. Now, one of the inside bits of tech of these lights, which is hidden away from you, but really important, is actually the Cobb style LEDs, which are mounted inside. So essentially they use the same amount of power as a regular LED. However, due to the arrangement of them, appear much brighter. So smartphone connectivity via ANT Plus or Bluetooth is where the SeeSense Ace really does come into its own. You are able to program different flash modes, battery saving settings, which also it does intelligently on its own. Now, if you want to learn more about the Ace, just click on the link in the description below and it'll take you through to their Kickstarter page.
Off season for some, but definitely not all. There is plenty going on at the moment. Nathan Elliott took a historic back-to-back victory at the Warnambool Classic at the weekend. That used to be the longest single-day event on the calendar at over 300 kilometres, but it's now shrunk to a slightly more reasonable 277 kilometres. The final round of the Red Hook Criterium Series also took place at the weekend in Milan. And in the men's event, it was Ivan Cortina of Bahrain Merida who stole the show, becoming the first current World Tour pro to take victory in a round of the School of Hard Knocks that is fixed gear racing. And in the women's event, it was Maria Spirotto who took victory. And incidentally, there was no sign at all of Jeremy this year. The final World Tour race of the season took place in Turkey last week, with Irish sprinter Sam Bennett of Bora Hansgrohe on scintillating form. He took home an impressive tally of stage wins, but actually it was Diego Ulissi of UAE Emirates who took the overall victory. In the cyclocross world, as we mentioned at the top of the show, Mathieu Van der Poel continues his scintillating run of form with victory at the Polar Cross and then the classic Zonhoven race just the very next day. It's a race that makes me wonder just what the cyclocross world would be like if it was actually a summer sport, because thousands of fans turn out, and here you are, look, you can see them enjoying the sun, the sand and the beer. It's got to be an idea, hasn't it? The women's race was won very capably by Maud Captions from Sanakant and Nikki Bramier. And actually, Katie Compton had won the previous day at Poldercross, and she took a very, very sweet prize home with her as well, as she Instagrammed, in fact. You can see, look, there it is, a Michelin-starred dessert. Genius.
But before we leave racing news this week, there's one more thing we need to talk about, and that is...
Wattage Bazooka! So this week's Wattage Bazooka goes to Rachel Elliott, who averaged a whopping 5.46 watts per kilogram to take a time trial victory, and that was for almost 28 minutes.
That is some serious wattage right there, and thoroughly deserving of this Wattage Bazooka award. And don't forget, if you don't have a nomination for Wattage Bazooka, you can get in touch via Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the social media, using the hashtag Wattage Bazooka. It's time now for hack / bodge of the week. I think I got it right this time. Right, we start this week's hack or bodge from Zambia, and it was sent in by the team who are out there for World Bicycle Relief. This is a rim cleaner on one of the Buffalo bikes out there.
It's like a brush stroke cleaner, isn't it? I really do like that.
Yeah, apparently 70% of the people out there said it was a hack. So there you go, certified hack.
The people have spoken. Joshua Muska? I don't know. Anyway, he wanted to submit a hack of the bodge this week. Getting ready to roll out on a Sunday group ride, he was adjusting his saddle when suddenly the seat post clamp broke. So he used a Garmin K-Edge mount from his handlebars instead of the seat clamp. That's a bit of rim tape as well, isn't it?
Yeah. He's done a bit of bolstering there. I mean, it's bodge worthy in its design, but I suppose in a bind, it's kind of a hack, I guess, if you've got nothing else.
Look at this. He used it for 3 group rides before even replacing it.
Yeah. So fairly robust. I'm gonna give it a hack.
Whoa.
So we're going from sublime to ridiculous here. Yeah.
Sean Gannon, a curb hopper, a crotch cricket. You tell me. What's it made of? It looks to me like a bit of an old gas canister or a boiler or something.
Yeah,
like
I feel like this head could be like an old barbecue, perhaps. Like one of those. I don't know what to make
He's
of it.
got a gauge on the front as well.
Yeah.
What's that? What's the gauge for?
Yeah. Speed.
We don't know.
Power.
Sean, tell us what the gauge is for.
And add a saddle there. I'm going to call it a hack, though. That's.
Yeah, it is kind of a hack, isn't it? Really, because you're trying to become a creature. Creature. Nice one. Nick Gibson. Oh.
That is probably the saddest bear that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Ever.
And he says that can't be good for him nor the bear.
No. Whoever that is, just stop it. Stop it now.
Yeah. Cruelty to animals, actually.
Absolute bodge. Right.
Yeah.
Moving on. This is much nicer, actually. This came from Yestrem Conrad. And he has hacked, basically, some reflective tape onto his helmet just to make himself more visible. I think that's really cool, actually.
Yeah, it's a nice little hack, that.
Yeah.
I think, in the winter times, nothing better than being seen.
Absolutely. John Connor on Instagram.
Love that.
That's really nice. Here in the UK, we don't have like mailboxes or anything like that. But if I did, it would look something like that. He's repurposed an old frame and a bit of a wheel as well to make a nice mailbox holder.
That's fantastic. Imagine we did that on our front doors.
Yeah.
John Connor.
Hack. Right.
That was well synchronised.
Yeah, it was well synchronised.
Or Patrick Grant. His shifter snapped off his handlebars 20 miles into 100 mile sportif, so he fixed it back on with cable ties.
I think he's been taking tips from Doddy from GMBN here.
Yeah,
but,
cable tie king.
I think it's kind of like, it's like the seat clamp one. It's like in a bind. If you've got nothing else, cable tie.
Yeah. My only worry there would be getting out of the saddle on the hoods.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
You've got to take it easy on those. But, it got him round. He still seems to be here. So I'm going to give it a hack.
Yeah, nice one, Patrick.
Good
hack from me
ingenuity.
too.
All right. If you've got any more hacks or bodges for us, you know what to do. Let us know via Twitter or Instagram using the hashtag GCN Hack. the winner of the Titici Flexi gravel bike frame is...
Gavin Lomas. You'll be hearing from us very shortly. Congratulations.
Well, we rarely leave you hanging without a competition here at GCN, so we've got something very special for you. Whoa! Nice jersey, John.
Yeah, not bad, is it? Although I don't get to keep this because this week's competition, thanks to our friends at Science in Sport, is to win all of this. Team Sky signed jersey, we've got some Rego here, we've got some Go Energy and Immune gels, we've got some caffeine added into these energy bars.
Yeah, got plenty here as well.
More gels.
More gels, more Rego. Absolutely incredible prize. And if you want to be in with a chance of winning all of this, there's a competition link in the video's description just down below. Good luck.
Yeah.
Caption of the week now, and we'll remind you of last week's caption photo, which was this one of Nairo Quintana. And the winner is Joel Austin with this caption. This is what happens when the UCI bans feeding in the last 3 kilometres.
Get in touch with us on Facebook and this bottle will be winging its way to you. Now this week's photo comes from Zonhoven and the Superprestige cyclocross event in Belgium. Famous for its big sandy descent.
Is sand going to feature in your caption, John?
Ooh, it might do.
Go on then, get us started.
Okay. A descent like this sends shivers down my spine.
Just as I predicted, John. If you can do any better, then leave your
my best.
captions in the comments section down below.
And you could win one of these. Try my best. Now, what's coming up on the channel this week? On Wednesday, we've got how to deal with numb feet and hands when riding. That's something I used to suffer with a lot.
And certainly, investing in a cycling-specific pair of gloves is a very good idea because although normal gloves might keep your hands warm, of crucial importance is being able to hold onto your handlebars, change gear, and brake.
Thursday, we've got some motivational quotes for you. Friday, ask GCN anything.
And on Saturday, we've got a very special pro bike for you coming up. Look out for that one. And Sunday, we show you how to corner, but with some tips from our friends over at GMBN. And on Monday, we're back in the maintenance set.
And Tuesday, it's episode number 250 of the GCN show.
250.
250.
Where does the time go, John?
It flies.
Right, it's almost time for the end of the GCN show, but we thought we'd give you a quick update on the GCN shop, and there's some pretty cool new things in stock at the moment, isn't there, John?
Yeah, that's right. We've got some new GCN fan kit coming just in time for winter. So we've got some long sleeve jerseys, bib tights, and also jackets and gilets for you in both GCN colourway as well as high vis.
Nice. You're modelling them very nicely there, John.
Well,
Looking dapper.
I've had the catwalks of Milan and Paris calling me, and yeah, who knows?
Might not even be here next week. Be in Milan.
Yeah, you never
Right,
know. Or Taiwan.
Who knows? Right, let's finish with Extreme Corner. And it's pretty extreme. The Red Bull Trike Strike. I've never heard of the event before. It's technically bikes, I suppose. But yeah, have a look what we mean. Whoa! You would not catch me on one of those trikes, John.
No, but I tell you who we should catch on one of those trikes, Mr. Tom Last. And you guys and girls will find out why very shortly.
Unfortunately, that does bring us to the end of the GCN show for this week. I've actually got to leg it to the airport to pick Matt up because we are getting ready for the Taiwan KOM Challenge. Both rather nervous, both rather excited. It should be good. Anyway, please do make sure you head over to the GCN shop after leaving this video. There's loads of cool new stuff on there at the moment, so do make sure you check it out. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe to GCN. It's completely free to do so. Just click on the globe. And if you want to watch a couple more videos after this one, definitely recommend checking out our Q&A with Mark Beaumont. As Niels Heldens put in the comments section down below that video, you know you're hardcore when you ride so much it stops hurting. That's a valid point. Or to check out something a little bit different, GCN does science, where we investigate the effect of stem length on the way your bike handles. Check that one out.